Good morning, viewers at home, and welcome to yet another edition of your daily program. We call it AM Cafe. It's a weekly, a daily program coming your way from the studio of OSBC television, transmitting from our studios here in Ileawiye. Okay, Bale Osogbo is another Monday morning, cool and chilling, cool. You know, the Harmattan is here finally, and we are happy for that. At least the weather, will be clement. At least this time, the sun, we go down a bit and we continue to experience, the Harmattan period. Once again, my name is Adeleke. It's my pleasure to welcome you back to the first edition of the program, AM Cafe, Monday morning. I have my guests already seated with me in the studio, and together we are going to take a voyage around the topic we are going to look at this morning. It has to do with collective action towards tackling economic challenges, economic problems facing the country. Is the country really facing economic challenge? What are the root causes of those challenges we are currently facing as far as the economy of the country is concerned, and how do we tackle those challenges? Those will be our focus on the program AM Cafe this cool Monday morning. Let me welcome my guest on board the program officially. He is a public affairs analyst, Dr. Yemi Badru. It's a pleasure welcoming you to the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, I don't need to ask you how the weather is. You can see that weather is clement now. I can see the way you dress now to beat up the weather.
Honestly, it's becoming harsh.
Yes. It is a period.
Exactly.
Yes, we need to bear with it.
Exactly.
Yes, talking about economic challenges, how do we collectively tackle it? Are we really facing economic challenge in the country? Let's start from that.
Thank you so much. Good morning, viewers at home, and thanks for joining us on this program this morning. Well, to be honest with ourselves, we are facing economic crisis, not just challenges. Deceiving ourselves, we say challenges, but we are facing economic crisis in the nation, and this is a product of a lot of bad policies from the leadership, and a lot of mismanagement from those we have asked to lead us. And I'm talking of mismanagement of our funds, mismanagement of our resources, and that is how we have found ourselves in this place, you understand? When we have insincere leaders or leadership, this is likely, this is the result we see in most cases, you understand? That's why wherever and whenever a country is faced with economic hardship, the first thing that comes to their mind is the leadership, you understand? That's why in some places, in some country, the people to blame have been the leaders. So truly, we are facing hardship as a nation. And let's tell ourselves the truth. To feed each other nowadays is not an easy thing. To send children to school is not an easy thing. To maintain the home front is not an easy thing. In fact, if you are traveling now, you discover that the number of people on the road is drastically reduced. The number of vehicles on the road is reduced. So somewhere like Lagos, where you see, a lot of traffic jam before, hardly will you see it nowadays. You understand? That is to tell us that something is wrong with us. How we are going through a serious situation. You understand? That call for deep reflection. You understand?
And talking about this challenge, it is agreed that we are facing hardship. What are the causes?
Well, number one, like I've just said, number one is bad policies from previous leadership. because there is this Yoruba adage that says that amukun eru ewo ewaju lo nwo oweyin. That is to say, our problem didn't just start today. It's a product of many years of neglect, and is a product of many bad leadership. Now, insincere leadership and bad policies. That's number one. So if we are going to tell ourselves the truth, that is where it starts from. It started from. Number two is gross mismanagement of funds. Now, I will also want to make reference to the fact, to this number three, and that is insincere leadership. Now, in every country, especially developed countries, before any policy is introduced by the leaders, there is always a backup. I'll give an instance. A leader in this country once propounded a theory saying that borders should be closed, that we all should promote indigenous products. It's a good idea. But as of that time, are we mature? Are we ready for such policy? Why did I say that, sir? Was there a backup plan that if this is done, this is what people will fall out? Have we stocked our silos? Have we stocked our storehouses with, food items sufficient enough to carry us through that period? There was nothing. Now, do we have enough indigenous agrarians who are willing to devote themselves to feeding the nation? You discover that as of that time, it's only a few set of people that were producing or planting rice. Now, rice prices went as a soar high. People started feeling the heat. People started grumbling. And that is where we have found ourselves. Now, if I will talk about the nascent policy that brought us here, removal of subsidy, this and that, you understand? Now, was there a backup plan in place? You can't just bring a policy, you can't just impose something on people. Now, when we are talking of democracy, we say it's government of people, by the people, and for the people. Now, even if the intent is to benefit the people, is our policy going to? Do we have to make policies that will kill majority before we get it right? That is why I said that number three is lack of visionary leadership, or lack of people-oriented policies. Those are the three cardinal things. Now, and number four is we have a very high inflation. Whether we like it or not, whether we tell ourselves the truth or not, if we are faced with a high level of inflation in the country. Now, let me just say this, sir. Cost of moving things from rural area to the urban area is on the high side. Ask the manufacturers. They will tell you that the cost of transporting our goods from the village or from the point of production to the end user is on the high side. And we too, the essence of being in the business is for profit maximization and wealth creation. They want to make profit. And it is what they have made, the expenses they have incurred, that they will spread on the end user, on the product, and the end user will feel the heat. And that is where we have, that's the cause of our problem, sir.
Well, if you are just joining us, the program is still AM Cafe. My guest is still Dr. Yemi Badru, a public affairs analyst. We have been looking at the collective action towards tackling economic problem facing Nigeria. I want to agree with you with this saying that there's no bad country, only have bad leadership. And looking at the situation in the country with the challenges, the problem you have mentioned, how do we go about it? How do we sail out of the economic problem we are currently facing?
Thank you so much, sir. Number one, we all should realize that we have a nation called Nigeria. This is our nation. And if this nation is peaceful, all of us will enjoy. If this nation is prosperous, all of us will enjoy. Now, if the nation is at war, everybody will suffer. Now, we have a duty as citizens not to leave our future or our nation only in the hand of the politicians or the leaders. The moment we leave it in their hand, we have gotten it wrong. Now, our duty is to ensure, one, that we call them to order part-time. That's why politics is a process that involves both the leaders, as in both politicians and the leaders and the led. So the led must constructively agitate or call the attention of the leaders to as in the areas where they are not getting it right. That's why feedback is always essential. And on the part of the leaders, accountability should also be the watchword. Now, we shouldn't be led with the mind that they are not to be accountable to us. They should understand the fact that they were brought into power or position of leadership through our votes. That's why, whether we like it or not, politicians always canvass for our votes, believing that the power that the masses have is their franchise during election, as in is their votes. And that's why we who have nominated them or who have sent them to go and represent us must always call their attention to the fact that certain areas or certain decisions or certain policies they are making are not in tandem with our plans. You understand? Now, the leaders are also to note that the led must not suffer in their hand, and that is God-fearing leadership. Now, when you have the mind that the people who have sent me there must not suffer harm psychologically, emotionally, and financially. So whatever policy you have or whatever policy you intend to bring must be people-oriented policies and not just a policy tailored at enhancing your own financial capability. It's unfortunate that we have leaders who are mindful of their pockets nowadays and not the collective prosperity of our land. So, I've been bringing the two,
yes,
the duty of the led and the duty of the leader.
Yes.
Then another thing is that for we who are being led, the citizens, this is a time for us to rise to the clarion call of helping each other. When you see someone in need, identify with the need. Whether we like it or not, people are groaning. People are suffering. Some people find it extremely difficult to feed. Something happened to me last week. I was coming from work. I got to the park in Ibadan, and I discovered that I had no kobo to leave that point to travel down to Osogbo. As someone, a monthly earner, we discovered that before you are even paid, debts are already on ground.
Are piling up.
Nowadays, our salaries, our whatever we have, is not sufficient to even rent a house. I saw something yesterday that made me nearly cry. A room and parlor self-contained, going for 800,000. in Osogbo. Now, the first question that came to my mind is that how do we make money to be able to pay for such rent? How do we want to maintain our lifestyle? So that's why I am calling on, fellow citizens to see this as a clarion call to identify with the needs of people. Our neighbors should not die out of hunger. To come to this place this morning, I discovered that I had no cover on me. I have to call one of my brothers, a neighbor. Please, sir, help me to the studio. And this man woke up, somebody who should be with his wife, you understand? Woke up, he drove me down. And that is what is called, love. This is a time to show love to the needy among us. And that is part of the collective effort, duty we have to help each other.
What there, Dr. Badru, let's look at, you have said it is a collective effort, to bail the country out of the present scenario. The governed and the government, we need to do something to love, to rededicate ourselves to the cause of building a reputable nation. But in terms of accountability and transparency, as much as government is doing to ensure a corrupt-free society, it seems corruption, accountability, and transparency, they are fighting back, and government seems to be overwhelmed by the present situation. How do we do in light of this situation?
Honestly, I like the question you have asked, sir. It's surprising that we are now undaunted, you understand, with the fact that there is even something called corruption. Seriously, corruption is fighting back. And this is my opinion. It will be hard to fight, it will also be hard to fight corruption in this country if we continue this way. Why did I say that, sir? When people are poor, it takes a God mind not to delve into corruption. Someone who finds it difficult to feed, who finds it difficult to provide food and shelter for his family, if such a person is put at a place or in place of leadership or in a position of delegated authority, you understand, and have access to fund, if he is not disciplined, he will steal. Now, sir, that's an aspect. Now, I'm not talking of an inept belief that the leaders are corrupt. Everybody should be corrupt. That's why I always say this, that in psychology, we psychologists believe that human behavior is a product of so many underlying factors. One, human behavior is a product of nature or nurture. Human behavior may be cognitively related, as is a thinking process. Human behavior can be learned and unlearned. Human behavior can be a transfer of aggression. Now, when I'm talking of nature or nurture, so sorry that I'm diverting. Now, when I'm talking of nature or nurture, when we are talking of nature, we are talking of inherent, biological, ability. When we are talking of nurture, we are talking of environmental. You understand? Now, a child that was born in the market square and a child that will be different from a child that was born at the garage. You understand? And will be different from a child that was born with silver spoon. You understand? Because the tendency is there that a child that was born at the motor park will believe that the lifestyle, seeing those who are smoking Indian hemp and the like, you understand, will be like the lifestyle maybe is the correct one. You understand? A child that was born in a house where there is domestic violence have a tendency of replicating that attitude. Now, let me now come back to work. So now, most people, especially, the junior staffs, who have seen the leaders, you understand, their leaders, amassing wealth to themselves or stealing, you understand, they may believe that, no, that's the right way of life. It's not the right way of life. And sir, why I said that it will be difficult to fight corruption if we continue this way is because even when you attempt to call the attention of leaders or leadership, you understand, or even some security men, you understand, to crimes or to situations unpalatable or unlawful, do you know that some of them even fight you back? Something happened to me. I went to a police station to report the case of a constructive breaking. And on getting there, the IPO started shouting on me. Must you always report? Must you always talk? Must you say that you saw this? Must you say that you get out of our station? You understand? As if that police station belongs to them. Meanwhile, they have forgotten that by the virtue of Section 4 of Police Act and 24 of Police Act 2020, they have a duty to investigate all complaints lodged to them. You understand? Do you know what I did? I have to summon courage, pick my phone, and I called the police PRO in that state. You understand? I don't know that it is an offense to report a crime not to have been committed to the police. Because when you don't report, you become an accessory after fact. And that is where, and that is the reason why most people are finding it difficult to express themselves or to report crimes known to be committed in their community. You understand? Whereas, where in the developed country, you see even a child, you understand, calling 911. When you see something strange, you call police, you understand? Because you believe that they should be aware to investigate and possibly prosecute, you understand? Now, sir, because they have this belief that that is you have to be sensitive of your environment so that you can protect your environment. And that is what is brought us into this current security problem in the country, you understand? Because people are not encouraged to expose crimes in their vicinities.
Dr. Badru, taking you back to the issue of economic situation, can we really get it right in Nigeria on a last note?
Thank you so much, sir. I believe that we can get it right, sir. If there is a will, there will be a way. Once there is a will, there is a way. It has to be decision. I've said it many times on this platform that success in life is a product of 4 cardinal D's. The first one is decision, the second one is determination, the third one is discipline, and the fourth one is diligence. And when we are talking of diligence, we are talking of consistency to purpose. Now, if we decide to make our nation work, sir, we see our nation change. Now, I'm talking of both the leaders and the led. If we decide to make our nation a great nation, we will achieve it. Because every success starts with a dream. The second one is discipline, the determination, sir. That is courage to conquer. It might not be an easy journey. It might not be a smooth ride. But if we are courageous, determined to make it work, because decision alone cannot stop. Decision is just a starting point. Determination will take us further. You understand? That whether the leaders or the leadership hear us, whether they decide to deal with us, whether they decide to frustrate us, you understand? We will continue to tell them the truth. You understand? That is determination. You understand? The third one is discipline. Sir, both our leadership and the led should be disciplined. Leaders should see public fund as commonwealth that should be managed well. I see some people, in the parasata, they built one house. They said they built one house for 9 billion naira. They didn't buy land though. But yet they built only one house for 9 billion naira. And I ask myself, can you build your own house, one house, for 9 billion naira? Will you want to do that? Is that reasonable? Now we should see public fund as commonwealth that should not be mismanaged or abused. We should see the position of leadership as a privilege that must not be abused. You understand? And we should see ourselves as leaders. Leaders should see themselves as accountable to both God and man. You understand? Now, if we mismanage people's fund, because people's fund or common fund is, you know, our commonwealth that, if mismanaged, can lead people into trouble and can lead people to death. You understand? Now, if we mismanage this thing, we should know that if nobody is powerful enough to hold us accountable, there is a God in heaven before whom all of us will account back. Now, another one is the led should also understand the fact that they too should not have a mind of adding to the problem of Nigeria. Sir, when we have the mind that when we are there as well, when we get there as well, we too will steal. You understand? It means we are additional problem to Nigeria. Nigeria does not need additional problem. How to get out of this problem is what we should look for. And last one, sir, and that is discipline. You understand? That I will not soil my hand, I will not soil my name. Do you know that these days people are not even mindful of their names, sir?
Yes.
Some years ago, you are ashamed when they said that, you understand? You know, that name, we should be mindful of our name. We should be mindful of the name of our nation. We should not destroy the credibility of our nation. We should not destroy the future of our nation. We should not destroy the future of our children. The fact that we are there today does not mean that we'll be there forever. Our children too will be there one day. Now, if we destroy everything, we destroy everything, if we waste or misapply the funds that our children are supposed to benefit from. Sir, do you know that some years ago, some of our leaders benefited from free education?
Of course, yes.
Why are we not benefiting from it? Because somebody destroyed that policy, that way of life. Even in university, they were eating freely. We went to school, paying through our nose. Is this supposed to be there? Education should be free and compulsory. And lastly, sir, I talk of diligence. Sir, we have to be consistent to purpose, and we have to be committed. Okay, whether we like it or not, this is our nation. There is nowhere to run. To. My father has not shown me another country, sir. My mother has not shown me another country. Even though in my own community in Ejigbo, we always travel to Ivory Coast for business purposes, you understand? But I've never been there.
You continue to return to
that is it. Whether we like it or not, see, come to Ejigbo in December. You see our people coming home.
Dr. Badru, time is not our friend on the program. I know you allow you to talk and talk and talk. You continue to talk until the day break again. But we must say our bye on the program this morning. You have said a lot. Our leaders, it's a collective responsibility, no doubt about that. The leaders and the government will have a responsibility to the nation, at least to change the tide, to ensure that we have a nation that we all will be proud of. A nation where we'll be able to tackle head-on and conquer the present economic situation facing the country occasioned by massive and uncontrollable corruption in the country. And we hope we get there one day. One day we shall get there. I want to appreciate Dr. Yemi Badru for finding time to be on the program once again. And we hope you'll continue to be part of the program as usual. Not forgetting the hands in the studio who have made the program this morning a success. The MCR, the audio officer, and the control master control room there, and of course the producer of the program, Olushola Ogunleye. My name is Adeyemi Abodere. The program will return tomorrow morning. I want to appreciate you for being there while saying good morning to you.